From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. Canada and India have agreed to strengthen their economic partnership in a move aimed at boosting trade ties after more than 2 years of a strained relationship. Prime Minister Mark Carney met in New Delhi today with host Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and they jointly announced a series of agreements, including a strategic energy partnership. It involves a $2.6 billion agreement in which Saskatoon-based Cameco would supply uranium to India for nuclear energy generation.
There has been more engagement between the Canadian and Indian governments in the last year than there has been in more than 2 decades combined.
Iran and Iranian-backed militias have been firing drones and missiles at Israel and Arab states, apparently even hitting the U.S. Embassy compound in Kuwait today. Several U.S. warplanes have crashed in Kuwait, but its defense ministry says all the pilots safely bailed. The counterattacks followed weekend strikes by Israel and the U.S. that have pounded 1,000 targets in Iran. Saturday's surprise airstrike campaign killed Iran's supreme leader and dozens of senior members of the regime there. In a social media video, U.S. President Donald Trump said Iran's counteroffensive has killed 3 American service members.
Sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is.
Hundreds of thousands of stranded travelers are scrambling to make new connections. Air Canada has canceled flights from Canada to Tel Aviv until March 8th and halted air travel to Dubai until at least tomorrow. A 12-year-old boy killed in the mass shooting in Tumbler Ridge, BC last month is back home in Zambia for what his father says will be a befitting funeral today. The father of Abel Mwanza Jr. says he's eternally grateful to governments of Zambia, Canada, and local MP Bob Zimmer for helping him repatriate the body of his son. Abel was shot at school, among 8 victims killed at the school and at a home on February 10th before the shooter killed herself. A new research study suggests the rate of young men contacting Ontario's mental health helpline for gambling-related problems has increased.
The study published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal looked at Connex Ontario, the province's free 24-hour mental health and addictions helpline. Researchers tracked the volume of contacts to the helpline for gambling-related concerns from January 2012 to September 2025. It noted there was a big increase in outreach between the time before January 2015, when the government launched the gambling platform Play OLG, and the period following the province's expansion of private online gambling. It found that among boys and men aged 15 to 24, the mean monthly rate of gambling-related contacts to the helpline rose by 317%, while those between 25 to 44 rose 108%. David Augustine, The Canadian Press.
This is The Canadian Press. In sports, NHL action Sunday saw Mason McTavish and Leo Carlsson score in the shootout, and Cutter Gauthier scored twice in regulation as the Anaheim Ducks edged the visiting Calgary Flames 3-2. Michael Misa scored in overtime to give the San Jose Sharks a 2-1 win over the Winnipeg Jets. And the New York Islanders got by the visiting Florida Panthers 5-4. The 2-time defending Stanley Cup champion Panthers are 8 points out of a wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference. In the Professional Women's Hockey League, Laura Messier scored her first goal, lifting the Toronto Scepters to a 2-1 victory over the Golden Eyes in Vancouver. The other game saw Montreal shut out Minnesota 4-0. Canadian Shai Gilgeous-Alexander scored 30 points, and the defending NBA champion Oklahoma City Thunder beat the host Dallas Mavericks. The Toronto Raptors enjoy another night off tonight before they'll host the New York Knicks tomorrow night. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.